There's a noticeable shift in Robyn's behavior between Season 3, Episode 4, and Episode 5. What happened? Initially, Robyn is incredibly sweet and excited to join the family. She's working hard to fit in, giggly and fun-loving. However, by Episode 5, we see a different Robyn. Now very pregnant, her demeanor has changed significantly. For instance, when Kody excitedly tells the family that their baby is a boy and asks the kids for name suggestions, he asks Robyn what she thinks. She responds curtly, "We'll see." This is a significant statement, indicating that she wants to keep the naming process private despite Kody's playful approach. Her entire demeanor has shifted from sweet and fun to serious, and she begins to correct people's behavior. Several months have passed between Episode 4 and Episode 5, and something significant happened during that time. The pregnancy solidified her status within the family, and she no longer felt the need to maintain her previous facade. This also explains why she reacted so poorly to the lukewarm reception of the news by some of the teenage kids. She saw this as her moment of coronation. I never noticed the immediate episode-to-episode difference, so kudos to OP for catching that. I remember thinking, they will never get rid of her now, when she announced her pregnancy. Then, when she told Kody that if he wanted her to have more children, he needed to get the other wives to participate more in the family, her business, because she couldn't do everything and have another baby, I knew her position was secure. I'm pretty sure she had full-time help by then, but Kody immediately took action. As soon as she got pregnant and secured her position, her true nature emerged. She became domineering and controlling. When she doesn't get her way, she is stone-faced, and you can feel the fury radiating from her. That was just a glimpse of her true self. Wait until that marriage license is framed on her wall. She was furious at the older teenagers because of how they reacted to the pregnancy announcement and never got over it. She started the us/them dynamic in full force. She expected and felt entitled to feel shiny and special, but the kids knocked her down to size. Her veneer mask began to slip, revealing her true self. It's grotesque how manipulative she is, and it shines through. All it took was being pregnant with the new hair. No shade to Saul, he can't help that he was the spirit born into Robyn based on their strange beliefs. She never got over the teenage kids being upset about her pregnancy. That announcement went over almost as well as her purity speech. The teenagers were all IDJF about you getting your popped. It wasn't sweet and fun of her to pretend she was wedding dress shopping with the OG3. It wasn't very sweet when she was kissing her fiancé when he should have been going to his wife in labor. She was terrible from day one. She was never sweet. She was dramatically putting on a show to make herself look like the best and most considerate wife. Did she really care if Kody called the other 3 wives while they were on their honeymoon? Absolutely not. She cared about how it made her look in front of the cameras so that people would think she was sweet. I could see that from a mile away, just like Kody's fawniness in the beginning. Robyn's mask slipped a few times before it finally came off. I just rewatched the episode and realized she mentioned how upset she was when Kody didn't call her while he was in Mexico with Mary. My jaw dropped. Everything you need to know about the show is in Season 1. It literally foretells everything. I remember in the episode where Saul was born, Robyn kept criticizing Hunter for not accepting her. When Hunter held Saul for the first time, she had to point out that the 13-year-old had to see her as one of his moms now since she birthed his biological brother. She is so insecure. Maybe she could only keep up the facade for so long before it started to crack, revealing the real Robyn. The reality of her situation began to hit her. She's got Kody for a husband, and nobody likes her very much. Life isn't all beer and Skittles, nor does it revolve around her after a few shiny episodes. Welcome to the drudgery, gun shows, and Coyote Pass, Robyn. Even a nanny and shopping can't polish that turd of a life. Ugh. It was interesting to read that because it reminded me of a time in my life when my behavior changed dramatically like that. I went from being easygoing to picking people apart, judging, and comparing. There was someone whispering in my ear, telling me I was being treated badly, that I was a sucker, and that people were saying negative things about me. Essentially, it poisoned my relationships and affected how I behaved. Could this have happened to Robyn? Perhaps someone outside of the cameras, in her life but rarely seen, with significant influence, who she might talk to daily. My bet would be on her parents. I'm rewatching the show from the beginning, and now I'm getting into the episodes where Kody told everyone he wanted to move out of Vegas. At the start of episode 5, he mentions wanting to consolidate into one house to save 20%. Do you think this could have worked? Or do you believe the family would still have faced dissolution after COVID? Can we discuss how Robyn acted as if she had no idea why Kody chose Flagstaff? Those scenes didn't age well after we found out Dayton was going to college there. The family was already fractured when they pinned their hopes on a move guaranteed to make millions, because Mary was marginalized, and Christine was mentally preparing to leave by then, in my opinion. If they had opted for one house, I think Robyn wouldn't have been able to win during COVID because they would have been compelled to quarantine together. Janelle would have rightly pointed out that Robyn posed the highest risk due to the nanny coming and going, making it nonsensical to restrict Gabe and Garrison from working. Kody would have been forced to be more involved as a parent and either relax his strict rules or enforce them himself. This would mean either Gabe and Garrison would be kicked out or they would have to stop socializing. I agree. I've long maintained that COVID accelerated the family's fracturing, but the fault lines were already there. Can you imagine this mix of people being forced to quarantine together in one house for months during COVID? The horror it would make for entertaining TV though. Lol. Kody's stance in Season 12. Episode 6 about not wanting Mary and Janelle to attend the Women's March with Leon, citing that women and LGBT people have all their rights and polygamists have none in Utah, is incredibly frustrating and infuriating. As someone who is queer and trans, it's particularly upsetting. His lack of understanding about the struggles faced by marginalized communities outside his own perspective is glaring. Rather than supporting Mary and Janelle, he insists on controlling their actions, highlighting his need to dominate within the family. Their patience with Kody's ignorance in that scene is commendable, but his arguments were deeply offensive. It's disheartening to see him dismiss their desire to support Leon. I had hoped Christine and Janelle might have a different perspective, but their involvement in selling MLM products like the pink drink is disappointing. Additionally, the historical context of the AVV's origins, stemming from exclusionary beliefs, underscores a broader pattern of racism and prejudice within certain religious sects. Robyn's attempt to portray fundamental Mormons as enduring significant suffering, almost suggesting they've suffered for 100 years, is particularly jarring. As a person of color, this minimization doesn't sit well, especially when considering ongoing struggles for equality. Kody's reluctance to engage with issues that don't directly affect him or his worldview reflects both myopia and narcissism. His refusal to support LGBT events under flimsy pretexts underscores broader systemic issues within certain religious contexts. TLC may not allow Kody or Robyn to openly express anti-LGBT sentiments, leading to indirect refusals to engage with LGBT support initiatives under questionable justifications. This evasive behavior doesn't align with the inclusive values many viewers expect. In essence, Kody's behavior in this episode underscores his narrow perspective and his unwillingness to empathize with issues beyond his immediate concerns, which continues to frustrate and disappoint.